Welcome to the SOE Community Webcast at the Speed of Dev. My name's Amy Ashley Murkowski, the Community Relations Project Manager. You may have noticed that we have been posting all over social media lately about a little meet and greet we're having tomorrow at Jillian's. It's going to be during the Game Developers Conference, which is going on right now. We are asking you to drop by and chat with our producers about the game industry if you're looking to get into the game industry. That's from 3 to 5 tomorrow, March 8th. Sorry for anybody that's watching this on the recording. You missed it. Make sure you bring your business cards. So you guys play our games, so you know that SOE is one of the best massively multiplayer online game companies out there. We've been in the business for a very long time. In fact, our venerable game, Everquest, is about to celebrate its 13th anniversary. It's going to be a teenager. We got to watch out for that. So we always have new games in the works and in many different online genres, and we love to have you working for us. So to get things rolling, we have some of our devs and producers here in the studio with us today to tell you about themselves and the teams they work on and our company in general. So we're going to get things started with Holly Longdale. She's going to tell you about Everquest II and Everquest Next. So take it away.
Hi, my name's Holly. Windstalker Longdale is my dev name. I'll say a quick word about EQII Next. They're quickly ramping up with new talent and looking for especially good talent, as we all are here. And the game is rapidly underway. We know very little about it, and as the producer has said here, the first rule of EQN is to not talk about EQN. So for my game, I have the privilege to be the producer of Everquest II, the best MMO out there. We're getting ready for Game Update 63, which I'm very excited about. If you like dragons, it's definitely the game update to play. It's following up on Destiny of Velius, so I highly encourage everyone to go out and play it. There's definitely some surprises, and it's definitely going to accommodate a bunch of play styles. For myself, coming back to Sony, I was here at SOE about 5 years ago, and it's felt like coming home. Working with everyone here and the players, it's definitely a privilege. I'm very proud to be here. So come and work with us. We need good talent and smart people to develop our awesome games. Thanks.
Your question.
Oh, and my question. From Calthine. She asks, I'm assuming it's a she, how important is it to have a gamer's resume? I remember a story about how many original members of Everquest II development team were all guildies in Everquest, and they never knew. Can giving your gamer bona fides make a difference? P.S. And how do you do that without sounding like a show-off name dropper? Well, you can't. You will sound like a name dropper, but we definitely appreciate it. Anyone who's played our games obviously has inside knowledge of how the game works, and we're looking for people who have that kind of talent, who understand and know our games deeply. So I wouldn't be shy if you don't have specific game development background. Having a background in our game is awesome. So we're willing to talk to everyone. Thanks. Over to Tom.
That camera? Okay. No, that camera. Okay, so my name's Thom Terrazas. I'm the producer for Everquest. I've been the producer for about 3 years now, and we have actually a pretty cool feature coming out in about a week and 2 days. We're going to be launching Everquest free-to-play. Everquest, as mentioned previously by Amy, we're celebrating our 13th year. And it's your 13th year, just like every teenager, you got to worry about a few things, hair where you don't want it, things like that. But we have free-to-play launching. It's happening next Friday. We're actually going to be taking down the servers and prepping that on Thursday. The following day it's going to launch. And we're also launching some anniversary content. And it's going to be kind of the theme of superstition. If you can imagine stepping on a troll's back, does it break his mom's back, things like that. So it's going to be pretty cool. We're going to be at GDC tomorrow. We're looking forward to meeting quite a few of you, and we hope you, bring your resumes, bring, not money, just resumes, business cards, things like that. We'll be looking forward to meeting you. So we have questions from the players, and my question is from Hacks Generation. Hacks wants to know if he's applying for an entry-level game designer position, does it affect that he is also going to school at the same time for that career? So definitely, it affects many things. When we're looking for people, we do want to know that you have a passion for being in the gaming industry. The fact that you're going to school is a great thing. On a kind of a scheduling perspective, will it interfere with your work? If you can be flexible and let us know that you're willing to move your schooling around so that you can actually work for us, that's always a plus. But mainly we're looking for somebody that's going to be a good fit with the team. So if you've got those great qualities, you can work well, you're a team player, you're willing to do what it takes, then you should be great. So hope that answers that question, Hacks. Let me introduce the next producer up the bat, and that's Harvey Burgess, producer of Free Realms.
Thanks. So as Tom mentioned, my name's Harvey Burgess. I'm the producer of the Free Realms franchise. That entails the PC, Mac, PS3, and abroad, since we're now launching in Asia. So with that being said, Free Realms, what is it? It's this free-to-play game that's already out there. It's been out there. We're coming up on our 3rd anniversary soon. And as all these other games are starting to go down the free-to-play path, that's what we started that years ago. And so being the trendsetter that we are, we're continuing down that path. Now we're going out in Asia. We're revamping our mini games. We're making the player experience so much better. If you want to be a part of this, come see us tomorrow. We'll be at Jillian's in San Francisco, and we'll have a good time. As far as my question, it's from Antabane, and thanks for the 2-part question here, by the way. For the people who hire folks to work in the industry, what is one skill you never expected to want in your employees, but now look for in every application interview? Well, that's actually a pretty good question. What I'm really looking for when I'm talking to people is that passion. Of course, we're all coming in at different levels, different educations, different backgrounds as far as what we've done in the industry. So it's just that drive. You need to have that drive and that passion to play games and to want to make the best product you possibly can. And that'll take you a long way if you've got that drive. Second part, for the people who work in the industry, what is one skill you never expected to have or want in your coworkers, but now work to develop in yourself and the people with whom you work? That actually, it gets a little more complicated, but being as general as possible, I'd say just playing a broad spectrum of games. You'd be surprised how many people play the same types of games, but when you look at how many different genres there are out there and different styles of play, it's huge. And to be able to link all these people together who might have a different impression of how something's supposed to play from the way you think, you just get that creative juice going. So I hope that answers your question, and I'll be introducing Justin Dazet, who is on the Clone Wars team.
Hey everyone, my name is Justin Dazet, and I work on the Clone Wars Adventures team. I'm a designer on the game, and I've been on the game since prior to launch. One of the best things I think about working on that particular game is we're able to work hand in hand with LucasArts, and a lot of what we do, speaking for the whole team, whether it's stuff that's designed on the art side or stuff that we design as far as combat encounters, all becomes part of one big universe. So it's all part of Star Wars canon, which as a Star Wars fan is kind of a really cool, geeky thing. So yeah, probably, in my opinion, one of the coolest parts of working on the game. The question I had was from Matt G, I believe. Yep, and he said, what software is SOE currently using on its titles? And what could we get a hold of and start learning on now? Which is a really, really good question. A lot of what we use on our titles are proprietary pieces of software, but if you want to get a little bit ahead of the game. We use some programs like Maya for 3D modeling. We use Photoshop for a lot of our texturing. And then a lot of our work is done within Microsoft Excel and database tables and Access. So working with those programs will get you a little bit ahead of the game. And of course, any type of experience, although we don't necessarily use things like UDK, a lot of the features in that are very similar to proprietary software that we use. So being familiar with those programs can still be a very valuable asset for you. So hopefully that answers your question there. So I'm going to introduce now Mark Tuttle, who works on our TCG games.
Thanks, Justin. My name is Mark Tuttle. I'm the executive producer for the strategy games here at SOE. That includes Magic the Gathering Tactics, Legends of Norath, the Free Realms trading card game, and a couple of others. We're a very small, dedicated team in the strategy games. We are experts in the blind repeat collectible model, which is where you'll buy your game pieces in booster packs, build a collection, and build your decks from that. It's nice working on a small team like this. We're all very passionate about our games, very dedicated, and we have an interesting dynamic in our team is that even though we have a couple of people that represent all of the different disciplines for our team, everybody's included in the decision-making process. We have big meetings. Everybody gets their take on what's coming up, and it's a great way to work. So if you're a team worker, if you're a team player, SOE is a great company for you, and you should definitely look at joining the teams here. So I have a question from Pernell S. The question is, what work outside the industry could be interesting content on a portfolio for breaking into the industry? So I think the best thing that you can do is show us any type of experience you have in anything that you would be using in the gaming industry. Myself, for example, I started gaming in the physical game industry, working on physical trading card games, going all the way back to 1993. I came to SOE through brand management. They hired me because of my knowledge of how trading card games worked, and eventually was able to work up into the producer role that I'm in right now. So if you do art for maybe packaging or for any kind of company like that, it doesn't have to be gaming, show us that. If you're a programmer, maybe you've been programming for another company, show us what you have done there. I would say probably the best thing to do, though, is not flood us with everything that you've done. Show us your best work. Show us what really drives you and what you're really passionate about. And I would also say do a little bit of research on the games that you want to work on, so when you do talk to one of the producers at GDC, or maybe eventually a recruiter if it comes to that point, you have an idea of where you might fit into SOE if we gave you the nod and asked you to come join us. So by all means, come meet the producers at GDC, and we'll hope to see you on the team here. I'm going to turn things over now to my friend Luke. Luke is from the PoxNora team.
Thanks, Mark. Hi guys, I'm Luke Bultman. I'm the producer for PoxNora. PoxNora is an online tactical strategy game that blends tabletop miniatures with TCG elements of gameplay. It's a really highly addictive, fun game. I encourage you to come check it out if you're a strategy gamer. If you like Magic the Gathering Tactics, you'll love PoxNora. And it's an IP that is owned by SOE, so we have a lot of creative energy and usage that we get to do on it that other titles with licensing don't get to do. So PoxNora.com, go check it out. My question for you guys, or for me rather, was from an individual by the name of Pogo Wolf. He said, or she said, what are your thoughts on the seemingly best way to get into the industry as far as building a game, getting it popular, and getting bought out? So this is a great question for me. A little bit of background on me. I started in the game industry with PoxNora. I came onto the game about 4 months after it had released in 2007, and started in community service and customer service, community management and customer service, and worked my way up to producer, and now I'm the lead producer, if you will, on the title and oversee the production of the game. So it's definitely a great way to break into the industry if you're coming in from either straight out of college or straight out of high school. Indie game development allows you a lot of creativity and no walls, if you will, as far as development goes. For example, PoxNora was started in a garage, which if you've ever talked to any of the original creators, they will be happy to share with you. But it can be a really fun environment to work in as far as games, because a lot of people will get together with their friends and create a game that they're really passionate about. see it succeed. The more difficult part to that is getting the game really popular and getting the game purchased. For us, we had the advantage of some really talented individuals on our team that had good connections, and SOE noticed us and wanted to purchase us. So it's definitely a way into the industry, although I will say it's highly competitive and risky. But good luck to you if you want to do it. The worst you can do is get together with your friends and create a game and fail. So yeah, you don't have much to lose. As far as GDC, I will be there tomorrow with the producers, so I'd love to get a chance to talk to anybody who's interested in finding out more about working at SOE. Thank you.
Hi everybody, my name is Jeff Carpenter. Everybody calls me Carp around here, and I'm a senior technical designer on the DCUO project. I've worked on DCUO for several years, but I've actually been employed at Sony for this summer will be 11 years. If you haven't played DCUO, I'll just tell you a real quick bit about it. It's an action-oriented MMO set appropriately enough in the DC Comics universe. You get to make your own hero, your own villain, and play alongside or against your favorite DC Comics iconic characters. It's free to play now, so if you haven't played it, I encourage you to check it out. It's a lot of fun. Let me tell you a little bit about working in Austin. It's a super fun city to work in. A lot of crazy people here, and we have lots of neat events like South by Southwest. The city itself is fun, but the studio is also pretty awesome. Never seen anything like it before. It's a really open layout, fosters a lot of communication, and helps with brainstorming. And we have a pretty diverse team working here too. We have people from all over the place, Europe, Canada, people with all sorts of educational backgrounds, all different kind of game experience too. So MMOs, FPSs, we really get a lot of good ideas for working here. The DCO game itself is an awesome license to work with. We get to work with people like Jim Lee, Jeff Johns, Marv Wolfman, and when you have a license like that, it's really, really interesting to work on. So all the developers here are really passionate about the game. So it's a fun place to work, and if you feel like working in Austin, I would encourage you to stop by GDC, and we have some people from Austin that'll be there, so talk to them, see what it's like. My question is also from Hacks Generation, and Mr. Generation asks, does location make it more difficult when applying? For example, I live in Utah, but want to relocate to California or Washington, where a lot of the game development action is. Also, Austin's a pretty big game hotspot too. Would it be easier if someone applying already lived in the location they're applying to? Now, the short answer is it depends. Is it easier? Definitely. If you live in the location that you're trying to apply to, it's really easy to bring you in for an on-site interview. So it's definitely easier. But if your resume comes across my desk and it says that you live in Utah and I live in Austin, I'm not going to throw it away just because you live out of state. The one concession you might have to make is you will probably need to make yourself available for an interview if you can. Usually what we'll do is we'll do a phone interview, and if things work out okay with the phone interview, we'll ask you to do an on-site interview. And so it's really behooves you if you would come on site and could come to the city where the interview will be held. Different companies have different policies about flying people in for an interview, for an on-site interview, and also for relocation. So if you do talk to Sony or some other company, I would encourage you to ask them up front what their policies are for coming down for an interview or relocation. A lot of times it depends on the position you're hiring for or you're interested in, and the desirability of the skills you have. So it's probably the more entry-level positions that might not be as likely they'll bring you in, but definitely isn't a deal breaker. So I hope that answered your question, and hopefully you guys will come to GDC, and we'll see you there.
Thanks everybody for coming. We hope you'll join us at Jillian's tomorrow. Bring your business cards. Remember, the beers are on us, and we'll see you next week. Oh, bring your resumes too. Thanks, Holly. Bye, guys.